What's something you regret not doing? When I got into college, my dad was more excited about it than me. I wanted to share all of the stories of what happened here with him. I was gonna go home in just 20 days or so when he called me on August 22nd, and as I was in the class, I couldn't pick up his call, and later I forgot to call him back. And one day after that he was just gone. He had a heart attack. And I couldn't even see him for the last time. I regret not calling him back till the date. I really wish I could go back in the time and call him and tell him the way I felt about him. Tell him how great Daddy was. Tell him how much I loved him. I regret not sticking up for myself more during the awkward teenager years. I could have avoided a lot of bullies if I had fought back instead of trying to ignore the problem. When I was 18, I reconnected with my childhood best friend who was a girl. She came to visit family in the town I was going to college in. We spent the day together. At around 3 in the morning we finished watching a movie, and I get up saying, I should probably get back to my dorm. Her. Nah, you can stay the night. Me. Nah. I think I should get home. I was driving home and it hit me what she really wanted. Getting my brother a birthday present for his 23rd birthday. He killed himself later that day. I wish I could have seen him. Don't forget to check in on family. I remember when I was 10 this kid wanted to have a play date with me, and I was reluctant and didn't want to. He wasn't super well known, and he had a smaller circle of friends, and I ended up begging my mom for it not to happen. Turns out he had a disease and was slowly dying. 1 month later he disappeared from school, a month after that he was dead. He never had that play date he wanted. When I was 16 I started losing weight in a healthy way via good clean eating and working out and dance and sports. I stopped. I wish I'd kept it up. I'm losing weight now, but being overweight isn't nice, and I've got no one to blame for my shit life but me. I regret not having accepted a full 2-year scholarship to study abroad. At the time, I was needed at home to care for a family member. In hindsight, it was the right thing to do. But graduate study abroad would have been a wonderful experience. I regret not reaching out more, putting more effort into creating a tribe of support that would carry me through more difficult times. We socialize, sure, but many of us don't put enough importance on building deep and lasting friendships. Some do, many don't and wish they had. I would break up with my abusive ex a lot earlier, and then I would be more focused in college, be happier, and maybe patch up my relationship with my dad. Funny how one guy changed my life in such a drastic way. Might get a bit personal, but oh well. I regret treating my brother so badly when I was a kid. We were abused throughout our childhood, and instead of sticking to his side, I made it worse for him. I was so jealous because he had both my parents' love and I didn't, no matter what I tried. So I used to make his life hell, thinking if I'm not happy no one will be, and used to be the sister from hell type. I used to beat him so bad I broke his foot once. I'll never forgive myself for that either. He's now severely depressed and won't open up to anyone about it. It's entirely my fault, as if I didn't treated him so poorly, he might have had me at least. So yeah, I regret treating him that way and wish I could apologize. Edit, since people ask, I'm just too shy and awkward to apologize. We barely talk, and when we do, it's about everyday life or another ongoing problem with my family. I tried several times, but I'm just an idiot. Guess that's something I'll regret later, too. Worrying about what others thought about me so much. Not me, but it's so worth telling. My mate is a bit bad with social skills and was in a club with a girl. She took him back to her place, got naked and got in bed. He thought she wanted to sleep, so shook her hand, said goodnight and left. Glorious. I regret not traveling more, and so does nearly everyone that I have asked. Before kids and mortgages and marriages, when our commitments and expenses were lower, the opportunities for travel were much greater, but for some reason many of us thought we'd always have time for travel later. We dreamed of visiting the pyramids of Egypt, surfing off the Hawaiian coast, dining at a Parisian cafe, drinking espresso in Rome, trekking through the rainforest, and so much more. Sadly, many of us never made these journeys, and the opportunity passed us by. Buying AMZN at $72. I regret not caring about my grades my first 2 years in college. My dream of going to med school is no longer feasible, but since then I have been focusing on my education and have significantly brought up my grades. I plan on doing nursing school and then get my master's in nurse practice. Still difficult with my low cumulative PA, but I'm gonna try, especially now that my prereq PA is pretty high. Sleeping right now. I know the me that's awake in 6 hours is very angry. I sat up on Reddit until 5 a.m. Damn, I was gonna make some kind of crack about regretting not having another brownie last night. I know it's bad for me, but it would have made me happy. But then I read everyone else's responses. I regret not asking out my high school crush. I regret not putting myself out there sooner and trying to date others instead of trying for this one girl I liked for years, thinking something would happen between us. I ended up just losing interest in her eventually, but I can't help but wonder who I missed out on if I had let myself be open to others all these years sooner. Making good friends earlier on in life. As an adult who works full-time, this has become incredibly difficult. I wanted to make a smart as funny comment, but this turned real for me fast. I regret not thinking that dating a stalker might be a bad idea. Nothing when I really think about it. Any different choice risked me ending up here. And while it isn't perfect, I ended up with a perfect family, and I couldn't risk that. It's all I have. I even regretted not doing it as it was happening. I knew I was gonna look back and regret it, but I had no idea what to do. Girl. Hergless in est hergless figure you've ever seen. I'm talking positively bulbous where it counts. I buy her dinner, then we walk down to the beach. It's not a sand beach, it's like a cliffy rocky beach. Hard, semi-jagged stone. We lay down for a bit. I mean, it's rock, so it's pretty uncomfortable, but not unbearable. We are close to the water too, so my ass is getting damp. We're laying on our backs next to each other, then she turns over and lays on top of me. Her titties are squeezing out of her fucking sweater on top of me, under the weight of her body laying on him. Her thigh is in between my legs. We continue talking. I didn't know what to do. Does she want me to fuck her on the rocks? I don't have a condom. I'm definitely gonna nut before I'm ready if we start fucking, and we're both young, so pregnancy risk is high. Also, it's fucking stone, for like 30 feet in every direction that isn't frigid water. What does she expect me to do here? Nothing happened. She invited me to her house later that week to watch movies with her, but her guard dog of an angry chain smoker mother was waiting for me at the front door scowling, and when I went to her room to watch movies, her shotgun-toting redneck stepdad was a wall away in his own bedroom. What the fuck was I to do? It's like she wants me to fuck her on veteran difficulty. I regret staying long distance in my relationship for so long. We lived on 2 different continents, but he's military, so unfortunately it'd have to be me who gave up my life, which I always resentful about. I was reluctant and kept putting it off because my career was going really well, and I had a comfortable life. I make about 4x his salary. Now he's gotten tired of the distance, tired of me not physically being there when he's had a bad day, tired of waiting to start a family. I realize that I hate my job, my properties are paid in full, I have enough in savings to not need to work, and I make enough every month in passive income to support us anyway. I was so afraid of giving it up before, but I wish I had taken that chance earlier, because I want nothing more than to move to middle of nowhere UK and be with this man, except now I've lost him. He's recently told me he thinks he's developed feelings for someone closer to him. I regret not taking a year out of education before going to university, so I might have realized it wasn't right for me, even if everyone else was doing it. However, I don't really regret going it because I wouldn't be the person I am right now without the decisions I made. The debt just really sucks. I regret not seeing my very first and the best friend I've ever had again. She passed away May 1st. She was also 6 months pregnant. I knew her since 6th grade. I regret not visiting her anymore. She and I didn't end in bad terms. I started working a lot and she started a family. But man, we both gave each other so many years, and I hate myself for distancing myself. I miss her very much. She treated me more like family than my own. Not shooting a shot because of my fear of rejection. I regret not treating others better in high school. I blamed everyone for my mistakes and was an asshole creepy to people, especially women. This caused me to become depressed and suicidal. I'm better now, but knowing what I used to do will always haunt me. In May of last year, I went to visit my family. I drove by my dad's house and considered stopping by, but assumed he wasn't home. He died in January. We were never particularly close, and there was a lot of baggage on my end. I always envisioned being able to have a proper relationship with him, and now I'll never have that chance. Stupidly, I thought I had more time. Not exercising, not taking care of my physical health. UNIVERSITY. Turning down a girl who was deeply in love with me. First time was due to the fact I was gone for a month. Second was didn't even know she had a thing for me. Not learning an instrument during my free time in college years. After graduating and getting a job, I hardly have free time to learn any instrument. Ever hear nurses eat their young? As a new grad in the NICU, my preceptor and I were caring for a 22-weeker delivered via emergency C-section that day. He had a scalpel line from the speed of it. Mom was in rough shape and wasn't able to come see him. 22 weeks is on the viability line, so it was a rough go. When the compassionate choice came to not do extreme measures, we moved him, lines, ventilator and all, to a more palliative setting away from the busy unit. The thing about these babies is that they are stably unstable. So when he began to decline, it was the preceptor and I in the room. My one regret in all my 45 years is that when I went to put him in my hands as he desaturated, she stopped me because I didn't have gloves on. In the few nanoseconds it took me to don them, he passed away. I should have held him. My fear of her outweighed what was right for him. Taking a shot at girls that were likely to say yes. Fighting for the one I actually love. It's been 2 years since he hasn't spoke to me now. Is probably happier without me in his life, but part of me says try to get back in touch. But then I talk myself out of it. He probably doesn't even remember me anymore. I regret telling the wrong people very personal details about myself when I was around 16-17, i.e. that I'm a lesbian, my father's abuse towards my family and deep personal insecurities. Vulnerability is really difficult for me, so when I divulge something intimate about myself, it's a big deal. I thought they were trustworthy friends, but they were just shallow scumbags who didn't really care about me. My secrets were just an amusement to them. They didn't deserve to know me like that. You have to be really careful about who you decide to let into your weird little world. I'm 19 now and I've since filtered them out of my life, and we're not in contact anymore, but knowing that people I don't like and am no longer in contact with know so many intimate details about me leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Thankfully I have a lot of other friends who have been loyal and nothing short of wonderful. I guess it's been a good learning curve about trust. Be very choosy about who you let into your life.